Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about homeschooling in the state of Kansas. And I homeschooled for 8 years, so I want to try to cover a variety of information that you might need, whether you're new to homeschooling or you've homeschooled before. And we're going to begin with the HSLDA website. And if you have legal problems or legal questions, they would be the ones that could help you. And you could join and become a member, and they would help you with those sorts of things. I am not an attorney, but I can read what it says on here, or scroll down and you can read it. Or you can even look it up. And if it's a later date or a different year, I suggest that you go to this website and look it up and see if there's changes or if they've updated it. It's usually pretty up to date from what I understand, and if you feel like you might have problems, I might consider joining, It's good to have insurance. Homeschooling, it says, as a non-accredited private school. To homeschool as a non-accredited private school, you'll need to follow these legal requirements. Register your private school. Choose a name for your school. Register the name and address with the State Board of Education and keep a copy of that registration for your personal files. You must only register your private school's name once when you start homeschooling. And some states consider this a private school and some states do not. So it says always refer to your homeschool as a private school when dealing with officials. Select competent instructors. Your child's teacher must be competent. That includes you if you're teaching your child directly, which I'm sure that as a parent, you're competent to teach your child. Teach for the required period. You're required to teach your child for about the same period of time as the public schools. That's usually 186 days. I think if someone's checking and watching this video, then they're trying to do the best that they can, so they're probably already competent. I mean, we're competent to raise our children. We teach them every day. There are no required subjects, but here's what most schools teach. At a minimum, so there's that list right there. So if you're teaching them health and hygiene and things like this, that's part of their schoolwork. Some people on Saturdays might be teaching them how to do the laundry and cook and go to the YMCA and teach them library skills. And they might put that down on Saturdays as part of their schooling because it's self-care skills. Plan and schedule your instruction. The law requires that your instruction be planned and scheduled. And we'll go through that because you can brainstorm ahead to come up with a tentative plan and then change the plan to a plan that meets your needs and then have that in a portfolio or a binder to show that you did make a plan and create a plan. Test your students periodically. It doesn't really explain that one, so it doesn't say if they want you to do a standardized test or if you just want them to take regular tests. Either way, you'd want to keep that in your portfolio or a binder. If you can get a standardized test for free, I mean, why not do it? But I think I would do the standardized test as well as regular tests. And this is the Kansas State Department of Education, and you can go there as well and read what they say. And they have different PDFs that you can read about homeschooling, and you can download those and print those out and put the date on them as when you printed them out, or save them as a PDF and email them to yourself, and the email will show the dates that you got it. It says if you are considering homeschooling due to the safety concerns with COVID, which a lot of people are, perhaps a virtual school is an option, but to me, I don't think a virtual school would be the option because I like the fact that they can learn at their own pace at home and get the one-on-one attention and soar through their schoolwork, and that way they can learn what they need to know much faster and rapidly and excel. It says students enrolled in attending virtual schools that are accredited by the KSTE will receive credit for coursework as though attending an in-person school. And you can choose that option. You're the parent. This is your option. You get to decide. Registration requirements. There, it shows you that. And you can read more of that if you will. It also shows the homeschool requirements. So, and it has hours of instruction. So this shows you information that you might need. So you can pause the video to read it, or you can go on their website and print it out, put it in a binder or portfolio where you keep your papers if you're keeping one, and I will go over that as well. We're going to cover a lot of different areas. And this is one of their PDFs. So I thought I would show you this. And I don't want to read every little thing because I know that you can read that yourself. But there's the general information. And it says you must follow the regulations set forth by law. So you can go there and find out what those regulations are. Print it off and highlight the parts that you need to know. Put it in your binder or portfolio. And when you keep a binder or portfolio, if you keep one, you're going to want to keep things like addresses and contact information of various people that deals with the schooling. So there's some more information. It talks about diplomas and entering college. And we'll go over, if you're going to keep a portfolio or a binder, some of the things that you might want to keep is at the beginning of the year. If you're taking placement or assessment tests to see where your students are, because they might be at a different level of reading than they are in math, or they might need to review some things. They may not have absorbed everything that they learned, so you might want to take a assessment test or a placement test at the beginning of the year, highlight what you need to go over with them, and that helps you create a plan for what you're going to teach them during the year. State homeschool laws, you might want to print that out and put it in your portfolios. If you file forms or anything like that, you're going to want to print that and put it in your binder or your portfolio, whatever you like to call it. And you're going to want to keep those probably with proof that you filed them, maybe the dates, a couple of calendars. One calendar that shows that the dates that you planned on having school, you could X it off or use highlighters and field trips and things like that, and holidays. And another calendar for the days you actually had school, because even public schools have snow days or something comes up. But it's good to have a tentative calendar and then the actual calendar. Brainstorming through your favorite resources, be it on the internet and workbooks, and making a list, and then making another list of the actual list of resources you decided to use that year. And if you look back at the brainstorming favorite resources the year after, you could change and use different ones. If you have a workbook or field trips, you might want to put those in there, the ones you are interested in, and then the ones that you selected. And then you can print out the contents from the web page like iExcel or the workbooks and put that in there for what your students are going to be learning, and it has like a more detailed description of the activities they're going to be doing in the contents. Samples work from the students, and you can choose to showcase their best work, or you can show progressive work, or you can choose to show a variety of skills. And progressive work would be like they're doing their multiplication and you're timing it early on, and then later you're taking that same sheet of paper a month or two later, or a different one, and you're timing their multiplication skills, and it's much faster, and that shows progressive. Variety of skills would be like showing them working with nouns or pronouns and adjectives on different sheets, or multiplication on one sheet, division on one sheet, fractions on another. So, and you might want to have your student create their own portfolio or binder, because a student would like to showcase their own work and look back on it and take pride in their work, where a parent might want to show progression or a variety of skills. So, and that helps a student a lot, because then they can look back on their struggles and their achievements. And so that's just some of the things. Proof of field trips taken, whether it's a flyer, a leaflet with a date on it, maybe some photos, audio, video. You can have them write a paper on what they enjoyed the most about the field trip, so they have to reflect on it. A weekly schedule, maybe a tentative weekly schedule when you're not sure, what you're going to do different days. And maybe, say you teach in the core subjects, but maybe 3 hours a day you're teaching like IXL and an online complete curriculum, and then an hour a day maybe you have them working in a workbook, and maybe you have like free writing one day, or maybe like Wednesdays part of the day you have them doing learning different skills like cooking for 1 month, 4 days out of the month on Wednesdays, and then leather crafts or sewing or different skills that they're learning. And then maybe Fridays at the end of the day you're learning by utilizing board games or reading magazines that they've got in the mail that are educational, so that they have sort of a break. And you can put that schedule in there, and then you can change the schedule, and it shows you have a plan, and then you can change it and decide on it before you actually start doing that schedule. A daily log of activities. So you might want to put, I would put day 1 because you're counting the days, the date, the time, the subject, and the activity they did in that subject, and then the next time, the next subject, and the activity in that sketch in that subject. And then every now and then I put notes like they're struggling with this and they need to review it more, but they have a positive attitude. And then towards the end of the year, when they go way up in their reading level, we homeschooled one student and she went up 5 reading levels at home, where she only went up 2 at school. And so we could show that with her positive attitude, she was able to overcome the fact that she needed to improve in her reading skills, and she just was reading like crazy. And this was 7 years ago, and to this day she still just reads all the time. She loves reading. And you can put things like that, so you can put assessments here and there, and then every 6 to 8 weeks you can put a more detailed assessment for each subject, and at the end of the year you can put an assessment for each subject. And make sure you put a positive spin on everything. Even if it seems like it's negative, find a positive spin to put on it so that they can look back and take pride in their work. And they say it's important to have a student participate when you're creating a portfolio or a binder. That's why I said maybe you might want to have them create their own portfolio or binder. Any assessments, tests, or self-evaluations that they did, you might want to put in there. Volunteer work. If they've done volunteer work or taken art classes or anything outside of the home, you might want to get certificates or papers and have people that are involved with the volunteer place or the art classes fill them out so that they have that in there, especially if they're going to college or joining the military. It's good to have those in a binder or a portfolio, or if you're having a teacher later ends up reviewing it, you have it in there, because some states require that you have a teacher review the portfolio or binder, and instead of taking a test to show how they're doing good, and then the certified teacher can write up a paper for them. Any contacts you have with emails or addresses for the school, such as support groups, you might want to keep it in there. Field trips with a flyer and a page of work from the student. If you have career study type field trips, like you're going to the hospital, a veterinarian office, hotels, factories, things like that, you might have your student create questions such as what type of education the person needed for that job, their daily activities, how they contact and use emails to reach clients or personnel, presentations through the computers, maintaining schedules, meeting deadlines, problem-solving skills, planning and organizing skills, and leadership skills. So that, and then you could have your student write a paper of it. And you can ask them if you can record audio or video footage for the student to use later, and have the student ask them questions that they have created. And maybe this will help the students be able to choose a career later, or even just with interviews later and their communication skills. And you can put that in your portfolio or binder as well. So just so that you know those things. So, and you're going to want to take assessment tests because, like I said, they may be on different levels. Maybe they need to review things. And this is a place where you can find a list of variety of places where you can find assessment tests so that you can give your students. And they're excellent assessment tests. I will go to one of them, but it's that way you can find out early on in the year before you start teaching them and create a plan. And this is one of the assessment tests. And this one's math. And you can find a variety of assessment tests on the internet, but you can print this out and have them use this. So I had, my son was in the 6th grade, and had to be tested every year with their standardized tests, and he scored 3 above 12th grade scores. And the next year they did not want him being tested. They didn't want any homeschoolers being tested, and if we did choose to have them tested, they did not want copies of the scores. So because the homeschoolers often, they learn at their own level and their own pace. So this is just so you can go and find assessment tests and review, and this will help you with planning your year and what you're going to teach your students. And then you can go on the internet and you can find free calendars. I believe the Tennessee Department of Education has an excellent calendar that you can print out, and you can put X's or S's on the days you plan on having schools, and like FT for the days you plan on having field trips or holidays, or use markers. And you can put the time of the day that you plan on having schooling in the corner. And then when you actually have school days, then you can have another calendar and put the days that you actually had school, so that you have a plan for a calendar, and then if something comes up, you have an actual calendar. And this website, I think, would help you, because if you've never homeschooled, to be able to create lists of resources that you might need and put a page of that in your portfolio or binder. So you can list the books, you can list the homeschooling supplies, you can put subjects and put the websites that you might plan on teaching them, the subjects on the internet, and list that, field trips, things like that. And this will help you. So I thought that you could use this list to make a plan of your own type of list to create. And then when you plan on having, you choose like a website like IXL, you can have another list of the one website you're using and the one workbook you're using, if that's what you're doing, and then other ones that you might be using. And this is IXL.com, and I think it's like $20 a month, and you can easily print out the contents or the curriculum. It shows you the exercises they're going to be doing and utilizing during the year for their home education, and you can put that in your binder or your portfolio. So, and they have math ones as well. So I like the way it's laid out to show you that. And then you can check it off as you go along, or put the date next to it. And this is Khan Academy. It's free for everyone every year, and it starts out from pre-K and goes all the way up to college classes. And you can use that for your homeschooling curriculum. And you might, like I said, you might want to use like 3 hours a day on a website like this, and then an hour a day doing a workbook, and then you might have a couple hours you want to use like videos or other things to break it up while they're doing it, and think so that you have different ideas. This is AllinOne Homeschool, which is easypeasyhomeschool.com, and this is a great fun website because it uses a lot of other websites. So like it'll have links in the website to go to different websites for reading, and then you learn about all these other websites that are available for homeschooling. But it also has Bible studies, and I don't think it's included in their daily work, but you can click on it separately if you want them to do that. And if you're homeschooling, you have the option to start out your school day with saying the Pledge of Allegiance, or singing a couple of Christian songs, or reading the Bible together and praying before your school day. But AllinOne Homeschool, it'll ask you to donate, and it'll take you to a PayPal link, and you can click cancel and still get it for free. And then if you love it, you can donate later. So it's because it is an excellent resource. This one you might have heard of. Some people have and some people haven't, but you may not have been aware that it covers grammar, science, economy, history, mathematics, and civics. It covers a lot of subjects, and it's not a complete curriculum, but it's a fun addition to your curriculum, and it might break it up, and they can listen to songs, and they are on YouTube. People have created playlists, and you can go to their playlists and the students can watch them, and you can see the subjects here, right here. I'll highlight it, and it shows you multiplication, and it teaches other math other than just multiplication, but they can sing along, and it's fun for them to learn. and while you're making lunch or doing other things, or just a break in between subjects to give them a break, because sometimes they need a break. This is Grammar Rock, and this is the subjects that it teaches: the nouns, the verbs, adverbs, subjects, things like that. This is America Rock, and it teaches about electoral college and American Revolutionary War, inventions, voting for president, different things. And this is Science Rock, and I think they have other science as well. And this teaches about gravity, the solar system, the nervous system, the weather. And this is Money Rock, that teaches them about their personal budget and the stock exchange, and there's a subject. And then they have Earth Rock, so yes, they have more science. So it teaches about recycling, rainforest, oceans, gardens, solar energy, wind power. So you can find those on YouTube, and they're great fun for students. Even though some of them were created as recent as 2009 and some of them in the 70s, students still love them, the younger ones. And this is for older students, and this is PurpleMath.com, and it's from 5th grade to college student, because I use this in college. And it will give you an order of different things that you might want to teach your students. And so then you go on to it, you click on it, and it will have lessons and instructions if it's something they need to review or they're struggling with. And then it not only teaches them in written work, but it has a video. They can watch videos with different teachers teaching them videos. And some students, when they're being taught at home, they like to have the teacher instruction with the videos. So, and like I said, it teaches them in written work. So they learn better with written work, or learn better with videos. And you can make a list in that in their assessment. If they're learning better by singing songs, if they're learning better by doing online curriculum, or if they're learning faster by going through workbooks, working at their own pace, or if they learn better by hands-on or by the video. So you can things like that, and it's helping you with your plan for the next year. And this is Project Gutenberg. If you want reading and literature and you don't want to leave the house because of COVID, you don't want to go to the library, you can go here, and there's a lot of books. And if you take them to the library, I would give them a certificate of completion when they learn the different library skills. But this, you can click on the book, the title of the book, you click on it and you go to it, and you can say, I want to read it in this format, and there's the book. So it's really simple, and you can click on the different chapters if they're on a different chapter. And then there is en.childrenslibrary.org, or it's called the International Children's Digital Library, and it has thousands of books. And if they have different editions, it has different editions that came out as well. So if you see them listed more than once, it's just because they have different editions of the book. Then you click on it and you can read it, and you can see, you click on the page in the upper right hand corner, you can turn the page to the right or to the left, and you can scroll down or zoom in and out on your computer. And another thing that you can use is the homeschool support groups. And I don't like clicking on the individual pages when I have this many tabs open, because they have so many advertisements on some of the pages. But you go on you Google homeschool support groups and you find them, and then you can contact them. And some might be free to join and some might cost money, but these people have knowledge and they have skills, and they might have homeschooled for years, and they might be creating field trips that you can go on with them. They might have activities where your students can hang out with other students. They might be sharing books. You might use books that you might want to donate to other people at the end of the year, and this would be the place to donate them for homeschool families. Homeschool families are great support groups, because you never know what kind of knowledge and information that they have that you didn't even consider that you even needed, because maybe you didn't even think of it. So anyway, I hope that this helps someone out there, and please feel free to leave comments. I greatly appreciate you watching my video. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye-bye.